Welcome back to the news at 10. The leader of the Boko Haram splinter group, Ansarul, and 6 others have been arraigned at a federal high court in Abuja on alleged murder of several foreigners. The leader of the group and son of the late founder of the militant group, Khalid al-Barwani, and 6 others are facing charges that include hostage-taking and conspiracy to commit terrorism. They pleaded not guilty when the charges were read to them. Al-Balwani, who was arraigned with one of his wives, is accused of kidnapping and killing a British national, Christopher McManus, and others working in Nigeria. McManus, a construction worker, was killed in March 2012 as Nigerian and British forces attempted a rescue operation. Also killed was Franco Lamolilara, an Italian. They were held for almost a year. The accused are also charged with killing 7 other foreigners in 2013 at a hideout in northeast Nigeria and burying them in a shallow grave. Now, the Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, and the Delta State Governor, Fani-Kayode, have commissioned an 115-megawatt gas turbine installed by Transcorp Power Limited in Ueli, Delta State. The management of Transcorp Power Limited has promised to invest in facilities to increase gas supply with the support of the government.
Transcorp Power Limited, in its poise to achieve optimal plant recovery for the sole purpose of increasing power generation, installed the new gas turbine 15 with a higher capacity of 115 megawatts, which is being commissioned here.
The President has promised Nigeria 10,000 megawatts, and we are working hard to achieve 2,500 megawatts. Is it achievable? Yes. Are we working on it? Yes.
Special guest of honor and Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Mr. Babatunde Fashola, commended the governor for his commitment to peace in the Niger Delta, observing that it paid off with the successful operations of Transcorp in the area without any issues.
I am optimistic that this plant, with everybody's collaboration, including the state government, will produce its full complement of 620 megawatt and hopefully reach 850 as promised.
Delta State Governor Dr. Fani-Kayode has called for collaborative efforts in the power sector to ensure that generated power translates into electricity in the homes of Nigerians, assuring that the existing peace in the state will be consolidated as a continuous boost to investors' confidence.
I'm glad with what I see at the moment. We'll continue to provide that peaceful environment. We also hope, too, that by the time that we're going to look into the finalization of the petroleum industry bill, to see that there's a need, as I did say, there's a need actually to open up on gas development.
The new GT15 comes with a modern Mark VLE control system, which is very flexible and fully supportive of operational troubleshooting. It also comes with 33% simple cycle efficiency. The economic progress of the country largely depends on the success of the power sector. The federal and state governments must remain committed to improve supply in every possible way.
In order to meet the demands of an estimated 10 million farmers in the country, the federal government is planning to boost fertilizer production to 4 million metric tons annually. The chairman of the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative Monitoring Team, Thomas Echu, gave this indication during an inspection of fertilizer blending plants in Kaduna State. He explained that the aim is to stimulate local production of NPK fertilizer by reviving moribund fertilizer plants in the country.
If there is one issue that has given the Nigerian farmer sleepless nights over the years, it's perhaps access to fertilizer. But all this may soon be a thing of the past, as the federal government, through the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative, is set to revive all moribund fertilizer plants in the country. speaking during an inspection tour of a fertilizer blending plant in Kaduna State, north-central Nigeria, the chairman of the Presidential Fertilizer Initiative Monitoring Team, Mr. Thomas Etu, says the factory has the capacity to meet the demands of over 50 million farmers.
We're very impressed with the job they're doing, and we're shocked that they have stock. That's over 300 trucks stock on ground, as you can see. And then you could see the production is going on well, and we could see they're meeting the standards that we have set up for them.
And then some cherry news for farmers.
Before, this plant is only doing 10% of its capacity. And with this initiative now, this plant is going to do 300,000 in the next 6 months.
According to the managing director of the Fertilizer and Chemicals Limited, Kaduna, the federal government's intervention has increased the production capacity of the plant.
We are very extremely hopeful that this program, we will not take rest in this year. The way we are seeing, and before we were producing only 10,000, 15,000 a year, and capacity was unutilized. This year, we feel that our capacity may become small than what we require, so we are planning to even expand the plant.
The 2017 farming season is almost here, and farmers across the country are hoping they will not only have the unhindered access to these fertilizers, but that the era of fertilizer scam in the country are finally over.
Let's take a look at some business news for the day. Here's Emana Amawe.
You first. First Bank.
Welcome to Business News. President Muhammad Buhari today received briefings from the Central Bank Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele. It is the first of such briefings since President Buhari returned to the country on Friday last week after his 49-day medical vacation in London. The meeting, which took place behind closed doors at the presidential villa in Abuja, was designed to brief the president on the state of the economy while he was away. The central bank governor did not speak to State House correspondents after the meeting, but fillers have it that they may have discussed the state of the economy as well as attempts being made by the Apex Bank to stabilize the naira against the dollar and the effort to cushion the effect of recession on the economy. And the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, says the National Assembly plans to pass the 2017 budget by the end of this month. Dr. Saraki made this known to newsmen after a meeting with President Buhari in Abuja. President Buhari presented a record appropriation bill of 7.29 trillion naira to the National Assembly in December 2016. And the federal government has been called on to enhance the agriculture value chain in order to upscale the nation's export substitution. Key players in the sector made this call at the First Bank Maiden Agric Expo in Lagos. The discourse, which had the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Audu Ogbe, in attendance, provided an opportunity for updates on government's plans for agriculture.
Despite the economic downturn, the agri sector's contribution to Nigeria's GDP has been momentous, with a 4% growth in 2016. This shows how much potential the sector holds for the future of the nation, a reason why First Bank has organized this Agriculture Expo.
Agriculture holds sway in the mission to eradicate poverty and hunger in our generation. Indeed, the entire nation looks up to this sector, which is huge value chain, has a vision of hope for the positive future of our economic development.
With the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Audu Ogbe, and major industry players in attendance, discussions center around farmers' access to finance, storage, agric mechanization, and compliance with global practices.
Who will lend money to the farmer? And at what interest rate? At 18, 20, 25%, the loan is not for the farmer. Except if you structure your loan this way. If it's a loan for 1 year and the farmer can turn it around 3 times, maybe he can pay.
Agriculture being the main strength of Nigeria, and that's why our industrialization, for it to be successful, has to be agri-driven. And that's why the ministry accords so much importance to this conference.
One after the other, discussants amplify these issues.
What I think we do need to do is try and de-risk the industry as much as possible. That's NISAR and other things that to an extent guarantees the farmers that even if there's any problem, if not 100% of the funds go back to the financier, but at least part of it.
Government needs to sit down and have a very collective approach and fashion out how do we get the government policy executed in the right manner and in the right timetable and the right approach.
But how far away is the solution?
We'll work together and call more meetings and get down to greater details on how to take these loans and apply them and how to educate farmers on what to do so as not to lose money on their farms.
One of the objectives of organizing today's event is first and foremost to encourage our farmers to begin to keep proper books of accounts. Secondly, to explain to them the various financing options that are available. But equally very important is to begin to provide them with financial advisory services that enables us as a country to begin to mainstream agriculture.
With these comments, it's clear participants want the agriculture value chain optimized. The only question is, how truly ready are the different parties involved?
Let's now see how the local markets fared. The Nigerian Stock Exchange reversed Monday's negative performance, following big gains recorded mostly by the oil and gas as well as banking sectors of the market. Bisi Adebayo has details. Investor sentiment turned positive at the close of Tuesday's trading on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, following a rebound in some of the key sectors of the market. The all-share index recovered from Monday's losses by 0.59%, while the market capitalization rose by more than 6 billion naira to close at 8.75 trillion naira. In price performance, the gainers category had the upper hand with 20 stocks against a total of 13 losers. Air Services, Eternal Oil and Seplat were the top three advancers for the day, while Nascon, Lafarge and Honeywell Flour led the decliners. Total transactions improved slightly with a turnover of 227.75 shares, traded in 2,543 deals for over 928.49 million naira. Diamond Bank, FVN Holdings and NEM Insurance were the top three most actively traded stocks. And that's it on the stock market reports. I'm Bisi Adebayo. Thank you, Bisi. And energy stocks dragged U.S. markets lower at the close of today's trading session as the Federal Reserve begins its two-day meeting and is expected to announce a rate increase on Wednesday afternoon. Let's see how the rest of the markets fared. And that's business news tonight. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Emana Amawe. It's back to you, Ijoma.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks, Emana. When the news at 10 returns, First Bank holds its maiden agricultural exhibition as federal government promises more support for the sector. To join us again.